Hey everyone, my PD paper is over annual growth for all students and catch-up growth for students who are left behind. And being able to see students' annual growth is really important. To target annual growth of students, schools need to have excellent leadership, excellent initial instruction, and excellent data systems. There are 4 steps in targeting annual growth. Those are diagnostic testing, proportional increases in instructional time, focused teaching to the deficit subskill, and retesting to assure that learning has actually occurred. When a child is behind, teachers have to not only provide annual growth, but catch-up growth as well to get students to the academic level that they need to be on. Instructional time was referred to as a critical commodity. It is inviolate. No assemblies, announcements, interruptions, etc. That's just for annual growth. How much time for those who are left behind for catch-up growth? It is based on how far behind they are. This is where assessment comes in. The administrator gives a child direct instructional time that is proportional to the child's deficiency, which is determined by a diagnostic assessment. What surprises me the most is that aides, librarians, music, and PE specialists are the ones who help those students that are behind catch up. You would think that it would be a specialist of some kind or a certified teacher, but that's not the case here. I guess they have anyone that can help. The quote, "If the elementary schools do not teach their students to read early and well, it matters little what else we teach them," was really convincing to me. Reading is everything. If a child doesn't learn correct phonemic awareness, phonics, and letter knowledge while they are young, it will be hard for them to learn, and therefore they will fall behind. Everything children do in school involves reading and writing, so it's a must to introduce those concepts to children while they are young. A good way to do that is by reading to them from birth on. That way they will also have proper book awareness and be that much more ahead. What really challenged my thinking was the question, is growth really dependent on time? Growth is directly proportionate to the quality and quantity of instructional time, but when they looked at the individual students, they realized most students who start behind stay behind. I don't necessarily believe that. I've always thought that spending extra time on certain things, even if students are behind, that it would help students grasp those concepts better, even if they needed extra help. I also don't really agree with the statement that if they start behind, they stay behind. Some students who are behind may just have not had the right teachers, effective teachers, to take the time and see how they learn best. If they had a teacher who differentiated instruction correctly for each and every child, then maybe children would get more out of their education. Catch-up growth is so difficult to achieve that it can be the product only of quality instruction to great quantity. The quality of instructional time must have an excellent curriculum, rigorous training, and diagnostic assessments. Catch-up growth rarely occurs unless schools have good data, know each student's learning needs, and schedule proportional increases in direct instructional time. This excerpt from the article was very convincing to me. I've learned from subbing that when children are behind, it's hard for them to get caught up because they're constantly learning new things. But it's not impossible. If a teacher takes the time to know each and every student's learning needs and gives those students the correct amount of direct instruction, then they'll eventually see improvements when they retest them. Even when all students receive the same amount of instructional time, not all students grow the same amount. What accounts for the variation? Is it a motivation, socioeconomic background? No one of the highest factors correlating different rates of growth among students is the instructor. The increase in direct instruction is the first predictor, followed by the instructor. The teacher should demonstrate high rigor, high engagement, and clear lesson purpose. Then you have authentic instruction, teaching for understanding, student-centered instruction, and constructivist teaching. I didn't find that surprising at all. It's really common sense. It's up to the teacher to figure out how each student learns and how they're going to teach them the information that's required for them to know. And they have to find ways to keep all students engaged, whether they're really bright or need the extra help. They have to learn how to manage with that. If they can do those things, then they'll more than likely be an effective teacher, and most likely all students will have growth. I really enjoyed this article and thought it was very informative. It was kind of difficult for me to understand at first, but I eventually caught on and understood what they were talking about. Being able to read is crucial for students to survive in the real world, so it's very important teachers take the time to teach them all the skills needed to become a successful reader. Thank you.